Good morning. In this section, we're going to start our work with inequalities, so I thought I'd go over a couple of things with you on how to write the answers to these inequalities. So, written over here, what if we have the inequality x is greater than -3? Now, you may have done this kind of representation previously in some of your other math classes. You draw an open circle at -3, the end point, and then it's all the real numbers from -3 on up. When we get to the college algebra pre-calculus level, we like to use parentheses and brackets rather than the open and closed circle. So in this class, we're going to do this with an open parenthesis like that sort of shows the direction that the inequality goes after that. So both of these graphs are equivalent. Now we also want to use something called interval notation, and it will look like this. It's going to be an open parenthesis here, -3 for that endpoint, comma, and then positive infinity with an open parenthesis at that point. So this interval notation stands for all the real numbers from -3, but not including -3, on up through infinity. Okay, let's see what happens if we change this to x greater than or equal to -3. Maybe in your previous classes you drew that circle in and then you colored the circle in. That means that the endpoint's included in the solution set, and then again, this goes in that direction, so we have a little arrow. So there's all the numbers on the real number line that are greater than or equal to -3. Now in this class, we want to use this sort of interval type notation, so that's going to be a bracket here instead of the open parenthesis. This means the endpoint is not included, this means the endpoint is included, and that will look like this. And then the interval notation for this is going to be the bracket, just like this, -3, comma, infinity, open parenthesis right there. So always with infinity, this is going to be one of the parentheses. We never use the closed bracket because you can't contain infinity. It goes on in that direction forever. Okay, I want to move over to the next board over here and look at a couple more inequalities. Okay, so these are compound inequalities. They're connected with the word and or. What if we say that x is greater than -2 and x is also less than 3? Well, that's going to be all the numbers between -2 and 3, not including -2, not including 3. So with our new notation, we're going to go like this. That means the endpoints are not included, and this is really the intersection of this set and this set right here. So when you see the word and, we're talking about intersection. How does this look in interval notation? It looks like this, -2, comma 3, parentheses on both sides. So you can see this looks a lot like ordered pair notation. You just have to see the context that it's in to know that it's interval notation and that this is the solution to an inequality. What if we have x is less than or equal to -2 or x is greater than 3? So now we have the union of two sets, so we want everything that does this or does this. So x is less than or equal to -2. I'm going to draw my bracket like this. That inequality goes in this direction. Union with x greater than 3, so that's going to be open parenthesis right there, and the inequality goes in that direction. So how do we write this with interval notation? We have to use two intervals. This interval, -infinity up to -2, includes -2. Infinity's always got the open parenthesis there. Union with, okay, we use the union symbol, parenthesis 3, comma, positive infinity, parenthesis. So these are the hardest one to write right here. You have to use the little union notation right here with this interval and this interval. So it's everything that's over here plus everything that's over here. So that's just a quick reminder of how we go about showing solution sets to inequalities. We'll talk more about it a little bit later when we get to the electronic problem set, or the problems that you're going to work in this assignment. So I want to welcome you to this assignment. We're going to start our work with inequalities.